Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining the Home Care Association of Florida's Home Care Huddle, where we bring together the collective wisdom of home care providers within our community by sharing expertise and uplifting the standard of care. Get ready for an engaging conversation that goes beyond the surface as we unite to enhance the home care experience for providers and recipients alike. So let's huddle up, everyone, and elevate home care together. This is Patty Hyde, and I am the Senior Director of Best Practices and Compliance for the Home Care Association of Florida. Before we jump into today's discussion, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor of today's program, Decision Health's Home Health Coding Center. Boost productivity and safeguard your agency or clients from expensive errors and revenue loss with Decision Health's Home Health Coding Center, the ultimate online tool for all your ICD-10 and OASIS review needs. Visit decisionhealth.com/DHCC today to start your free 14-day trial and to discover this unique resource designed by home health experts. Now, moving on to our guest for today, we have Denis Sinelnikov in the studio, and he is the CEO of Curis Digital Home Care Digital Marketing. We'll be chatting about clicks, calls, and care, digital marketing strategies for home care success. So, welcome, Denis. Why don't you take a moment to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and about your company?
Thank you, Patty, for that intro. Hello, everybody. This is Denis from Curis Digital. I appreciate you having me on your podcast. Curis Digital, we're a premier home care marketing agency. We work with home cares in Florida and beyond nationwide. We help home care companies acquire more clients, help with recruitment, and help with digital marketing strategies. And I'm super excited to be on the show today. Thanks for having me.
So, getting right to the heart of the matter, Denis, in your experience, why do you think digital marketing is essential for home care providers in today's competitive landscape?
That's a great question, Patty. So, digital marketing is really no longer an optional tool. It's really an essential part of the business nowadays. Home care is deeply personal and trust-based service, but families most of the time start the journey online. People are still utilizing Google. Google still has kind of like a monopoly on search. So if anybody's searching for, a home care near me, they want to get reviews, or if they're searching for resources, what they can do to help their loved ones, they start their search online, and it's essential to be showing up on the searches. So that's where we come in, and digital marketing kind of helps agencies stand out, build trust and stay on top of mind for both clients and referral partners. And with today's technology, specifically on online marketing, smaller agencies can compete with national brands. If they put a strategic plan together, they can really compete with the bigger agencies.
So, for the providers listening in today, they're usually busy running the day to day operations, right? And taking
Mhm.
care of patients and clients. And so, digital marketing can be a little foreign for them. So, what are some of the most effective online strategies for attracting and converting potential clients and referral sources?
Yeah, that's a great point, Patty. Home care operators, they're busy, they have million things to do. But if they start small and kind of compound the effect, and they stay consistent online with their updates, they can really put together a nice strategy and show up in front of people. So some of the most effective strategies they can start with, just start with thinking about local SEO. And when I say SEO, that stands for search engine optimization. When you start a business, it's important to have your Google business profile, with your information, your address, your correct phone number. It's important to optimize it by uploading photos of your staff, your services. So the best way to get traffic is really start with your Google business profile. It shows potential clients that you're in business, you're answering reviews, you're consistently putting out answers if people ask questions. There's a frequently asked questions sections. Just optimizing the Google business profile, that's a great way to start an effective online strategy. The other parts is once you get up and running and you're running a startup business, it's important to put a budget together for paid ads. So Google Ads and Facebook is a great way to attract new clients with a landing page optimized for your business. And when I say landing page, it's not just a homepage or a website. You want to build a landing page when a potential client lands on it. It's nice, short, and to the point, and also has all the conversion elements to it. It's important to have a big phone number, a form they can fill out, and easily contact you if they're interested. So once you set up your local SEO, you can do advertising and driving traffic to a landing page. And then this third part, kind of like of the pyramid, is having an automated follow-up system. You want to make sure you automate your CRM system that you use to automatically reply to the leads that you get from the website, from your social media, from your Google. Somebody sends an inquiry, it's important to get back to them instantly. And this is why it's important to use CRM tools to send a text message, an email, a voicemail follow up to make sure no leads slip through the cracks. And nowadays, people who follow up with the leads and businesses that follow up with the leads, they can convert more clients. So I would recommend those three strategies from the beginning.
So, Dennis, you mentioned social media, and that brought a question to mind for me because social media is such a big part of everyone's lives these days, right? So, how can home care agencies leverage social media and content marketing in order to build trust and credibility?
Yes, social media, it's really the platform nowadays to really brand out your business, and it's a great way to get in front of potential customers. Most people nowadays, whether they at work, at home, out in events, everybody has their phones with them. People are staring into their phones. I was just recently in New York and just looked around, and every single person around me is just staring at their phone. So the point of the game is to get their attention, and social media is a great vehicle for that. We utilize platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. A great way to use social media is really to tell your story. Social media is a storytelling platform. So, what you can do is post behind the scene moments. You can post caregiver spotlights. You want to get few clients to leave a testimonial. And also, a great way to use social media is educational tips. You want to build trust and resource section so people will follow you and always come back to get more information. Social media is really, I think, about entertainment, so you want to make sure it's real content. It's like organic content. We notice with clients that post behind the scene footage, real photos or videos of their team, of their caregivers, of their clients. It really resonates and engages because people can tell what looks like AI or what's real human photos or videos. So that's a great way to use social media. But aside from organic posting, social media is also a great way to reach people if you advertise and create lead generation campaigns on it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. That was a very thorough answer. Now, Dennis, in all of your experience, I'm sure you've seen digital marketing that you love and you're like, wow, that's really great. And then digital marketing that you're like, oh no, what were they thinking? So, can you share with the providers listening in what are some of the common digital marketing mistakes some home care providers make and how can they be avoided?
Yeah, that's a great point, Patty. So we work with many home cares in Florida, and some of the home cares come to us after they kind of try to do things themselves. They kind of try to maybe build a website or do some kind of social media posting. The biggest problem we notice are the following. If you have a generic websites, many agencies nowadays, they find some kind of like a free or cheap service that they can get a template and just throw something up there. It doesn't really speak to a local market, or it doesn't have specific pain points that people are looking to solve. The website doesn't feel personal. doesn't look like professional, and oftentimes the website is not mobile friendly. It's just not built professionally properly. So I would say website is really kind of like the storefront to your business. It's important to spend a little bit extra and build a customized, unique website that has organic content, has real photos, it has an intro video. And I always recommend to owners to do like a little intro video and put themselves on the website, because most of the time people want to do business with people versus just like a stock photo. You want to build a connection and a relationship. The other mistakes that I notice is that what I call like inconsistent branding. You have one look on your website, you have another look on Instagram, you have another inconsistent branding on LinkedIn. It's important to make sure there's a consistency in branding with logos, with the messaging, and the whole tone across your website, social media, and online presence. Because if people land on your website, they might click over to LinkedIn page or Facebook page, and they might continue the journey there. So it's important to build a consistent brand all around it. And this is where sometimes professional marketing agency can come in and build the right brand messaging, the mission statement, so everything is professionally branded across the board. And one final thing I'll say as far as mistakes, what I'm noticing, um, there's agencies that have no follow-up system, meaning they can get a lead every hour, but they don't have a consistent plan or a SOP, operating procedure to kind of follow up with the leads. They might be able to call back, and if nobody picks up, they kind of forget about that lead until the next day. But nowadays, with the tools we have, with AI tools, with automations, with marketing platforms, it's important to build a system that kind of follows up on the leads and keeps prospected leads engaged until you finally hear from them, or until they schedule like a qualification consultation call or a meeting. So that would be the mistakes that we notice most of the time. Oh, the other one is reviews, specifically Google reviews. It's very important, once you get a review, to answer it, even if it's not 5-star reviews, even if it's like a negative review. You need to make sure you jump on it, because anybody who's in the market for a home care agency, they're going to go to reviews and they're going to see how you handled the positive reviews and also the negative reviews. So I think avoiding these mistakes will show up front from the competition. What do you think, Patty?
I agree with you 100% about the reviews, because myself, whenever I'm researching something, I will always look at the reviews, but especially the negative reviews, to see, do they care enough? Do they take time to respond to the negative reviews? And how did they handle it? Did they get into an argument online in front of everyone, or were they professional in their response? To me, that speaks volumes about an organization. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, exactly. I mean, reviews really helps not only with visibility and search and engine optimization, but it really is like the way you handle your business, and potential clients will do their due diligence and really look at the reviews from our experience. So it's important. And it's also important to build a system, as I mentioned, to request the reviews. That's one of the products and services we recommend is, once you get a client in, and maybe after a couple of months, you send them a text message and say, hey, please leave us a review. And the more review builds up, the better presence you will have.
All right, Dennis. Well, we're starting to near the end of today's program, but I do have one final question for you. As with anything that we invest time and money in, we always want to know, what's the return on our investment. So, how can home care businesses measure the success of their digital marketing efforts in order to ensure a strong return on their investment?
That's a great question, Patty. Really, the main question sometimes owners of agency ask us, like, what's the ROI and how can we track the effectiveness of all the campaigns? So it's very important to build for the financial side of things, like a dashboard where you can see all the metrics. So we build a what we call like an agency analytics dashboard, where we tie in all of the metrics from all the different departments. The SEO department, so we can track the keywords ranking. We connect the Google Ads, so we can see all of the money that's being spent, how many leads we're getting per each channel, what's the cost per lead, how many conversions are we getting from this specific ad group. And, with digital marketing, a lot of it is like testing and experimenting with creatives, with the messaging. So it's important to have analytics and kind of like the A/B testing in place so you can see what you need to do as far as improvement. Do you need to change some keywords? Do you need to try different geofencing for certain areas? And do you really get the ROI based on the conversion rates? Maybe the budget is better to be spent on Google versus social media in certain demographics or certain geography because that specific audience is utilizing one network versus another. So that's why I think it's important when we sit down with clients on monthly basis, we pull up a report and we go through each channel by channel to really look deep down and to see how many leads we're getting per channel and what's the cost per lead and how we can optimize the keywords next month. So it's important to set clear goals for each month, for each quarter and annual goals, and then work towards them. Clients and agency owners come to us and say, well, this year we want to get like maybe 10x clients or we want to get 20 clients, and we set specific goals and try to work towards them. That's really kind of the way we measure the success.
Well, that sounds like you're very thoughtful when it comes to the data and guiding clients in the right direction. So yeah, you've definitely given everyone listening in today some food for thought, and hopefully they'll take a closer look at their marketing efforts and try to take some of your words of wisdom and instill them in their programs. So thank you for that, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to talk with me today.
Thanks for having me, Patty. I want to also give a shout out to Home Care Association of Florida. It's been crucial in building my kind of footprint in Florida. Your organization puts together great events from local smaller events to bigger annual expos. So I always appreciate an invite and looking forward to continued partnership and growth together. Thanks for having me.
Well, and thank you for all of your support as well. And hopefully you'll be joining us at Home Care Con this summer and the attendees can meet you in person.
I'll definitely plan for it. Thank you, Patty.
All right. And thank you to our audience for listening in today. Be sure to follow HCAF's Home Care Huddle and rate today's podcast. And you can always feel free to email us at info@homecarefla.org to suggest topics of discussion for future podcasts.